So I would like to welcome Mrs. Poonam Bhojani, CEO of Innoventures Education, for this interview.
Thank you.
So we would like to start with an overview of the industry. So how has the K-12 education sector in the region evolved over the years?
I think the K-12 sector has evolved in a very robust way over the years. We first started our school way back in 2000. Our first school was set up way back in 2005. And that was a time when there was really a famine of schools, and it was very hard to get into school places. But the visionary leadership of the UAE saw the need to expand this sector and has had a very positive policy around the growth of the K-12 sector. And schools have been established in very rapidly in the past 15-18 years. And we are seeing that the trend is continuing in a very healthy manner. And it's a planned growth that takes place. And it's very much in line with the Vision 2030 of the UAE economy, of the Dubai economy in particular, where Dubai is set to double its the size of the economy by 2030. So in keeping with that vision, we see that trend continuing even in a healthier way going forward.
So what opportunities exist for investors in the education sector across the GCC?
Not only is there investment opportunity in setting up preschool, K-12 and higher education establishments, that is of course a given the healthy rate of growth that is projected in these areas. But there's also opportunities for other areas to come up. For example, edtech can grow very rapidly. There's a huge focus on edtech. There's also a lot of focus on STEM in this area. So anything which is to do with STEM, any services or any products which are to do with STEM, that area tends to grow. In addition to this, facilities and infrastructure and educational resources will grow. The demand for these will grow very rapidly. Hence, all these areas offer opportunities to investors, not just in setting up the K-12 and pre-K and higher education. Further, there's a need for teacher training. Worldwide, there is a shortage of teachers. And with the aggressive growth that is likely to be seen over here in the coming years, there's an acute shortage of teachers of all categories. Therefore, teacher training institutes are very important to be able to keep pace with the talent that is needed in the industry over here. And then the need for vocational training is also likely to grow. So all these areas present opportunity for investors.
How does geographically, where does UAE stand, and where are the other countries in the region? What are the opportunities in South Keen?
Yes, there are opportunities everywhere. Firstly, because of the increased focus on private education, especially a lot of privatization is taking place. Hence, there's a lot of opportunity. If you see Saudi Arabia, I heard the news on Bloomberg only this morning that they were saying that there is a lot of opportunity in edtech and in providing for K-12 schooling, higher education and pre-K and vocational.
And what are the plans for Innoventures itself going forward?
Yeah, from inception, our focus has been more on quality than on quantity. However, we have grown in a measured way over the years, and we started off by one school, and now we have 5 schools and 8 nurseries, which are now called early childhood centers, and we have our own training academy. So we have been growing at a very robust rate. In fact, compared to last year same time, we have grown more than 16% if we say over 12 months period. And in some sectors, some sections, some classes and some schools, our growth has been varied from 20 to 40% compared to the same time last year. However, this is within our current setup where we still have opportunity to grow. We are certainly going to grow. We have some projects already lined up, And at the right time, we will make the relevant announcements, but we certainly have a growth strategy in place to grow into other emirates, as well as we are cautiously looking at opportunities in the GCC, across the GCC as well.
Excellent. How has the education sector itself transformed with the emergence of edtech and technology into the domain?
While the edtech has a huge role to play and a very significant role to play in education going forward, it is in the context of brick and mortar in K-12 education that we see the edtech sector growing. Now, how does it grow? Firstly, technology as a tool in the hands of educators and students empowers, energizes, and enables education. That's our mission to use technology in education and we also believe that students and teachers should have access anytime, anywhere, any place to access the technology that is available within the school. EdTech also changes the role of the teacher very much. In the past, the teacher's role was to be a disseminator of content. But now content is available so easily. The teacher's role then becomes even more relevant because it is very important that students are guided towards what sort of content to use, as well as we focus on their safeguarding in bringing up best practice, prevent them from falling in prey to, in not very desirable consequences. They can actually surf around anywhere. So it's a question of mentoring them for the correct attitudes to maintain integrity in whatever they do. So the role of the teacher becomes very important. It is more now geared towards the application of theory towards solving real life problems. In the past, it was more about just dissemination of content, which is now very much available through the use of technology. This is one. It changes the role of the teacher. The second thing is that we have been able to use edtech to our advantage by understanding better the behaviors of our students and therefore in meeting their needs for personalized education in a much better way. Assessment practices have improved a lot with the usage of technology. I dare say that we have even improved our relationship with parents by technology enabling more frequent communication. They don't actually have to come into the building to be able to communicate with the teachers. And then the usage of VR, AR, that means virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, makes a very strong case in favor of EdTech as a tool to enhance education.
How has your schools itself, how successful are they in incorporating technology into various
We have been using technology systematically. We've had a mission and vision in relation to technology right from the very inception of our schools. And we have been revamping, reviewing, revaluing the impact of technology in our schools from the very beginning. In fact, when COVID started, we had tested teams very well already, not knowing that COVID is going to strike. So we were already ahead because that's been part of our whole, technology ethos and educational ethos to use technology as a tool to enable, empower and energize education. And it was very easy for us to just switch and set up discrete groups of students and teachers to mirror the classroom situation. When COVID struck, it was just virtually a weekend switch that we had to do across all our schools. I dare say many other schools in the UAE and this region would have also benefited in the same way. But we have consciously utilized education technology as a tool, not just an end in itself.
So at the end of the day, it's all about providing quality.
Yes.
So, and how do you see the whole ecosystem evolving around you in UAE and the GCC in enabling or helping educational institutions and schools to achieve this The goal of providing quality education. What's the role of the ecosystem?
Just as the industry grows, it creates an ecosystem around it. There is so much of interest in education in the GCC region from all sorts of educational services and product suppliers that, earlier it used to be so difficult to find the right kind of resources to source them, but now everything is available very easily. And because of technology enablement, it's very easy to access everything. Most of the things are available online, resources are available online, and it's a question of just subscribing to them. We follow the subscription model as best as is possible so that we can keep up with the best of class, providers. And the other thing is that the government's policy has been very pro-education. So they have specified that the UAE all K-12 schools should have a certain rank within the PISA, the standardized assessment benchmarking, the worldwide benchmarking that takes place. So for PISA, they've said that UAE schools must come in the top 20, and for TIMSS they must rank in the top 15, and for the reading test, which takes place, the Pearls test. The private schools of Dubai have achieved those targets that were set up. And those were very ambitious targets set up barely not even 10 years ago, and schools have really kept up with it. And I'm very proud of our schools because I believe that each of them is at the forefront in these kind of external standardized benchmark tests that really speak about the quality of education being offered.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mrs. Poonam, for taking time to speak with us.
Thank you. My pleasure. Yeah.